I go by Rab. I'm a music artist from Donaldsonville, Georgia. I've been doing music, I'd say probably like seriously like 2 or 3 years. About 2 or 3 years. I enjoy making music, it's pretty fun. It hasn't been too difficult because I moved away from there in 2009. I went in the military in 2009. So I stayed in Louisville, Richmond, then I was in Egypt, so yeah, I love like the little country life about 10 years ago. It's different, it's real different because like we ain't even got no Walmart, no McDonald's, no nothing, so I had to adjust to it at first. But it didn't take me long because I always, I always wanted to do different, bigger things, better things. So it wasn't too hard, but I had to learn how to control myself and how I spend my money because it's easy to blow real quick. Growing up, some things I learned, my parents, they taught me this a lot, is be responsible and take credit for your own actions, because you an adult, you can't, just because something not going right, you can't blame that on another adult. Even if it's not your fault, you could have did something to prevent it, but it still was a little out your hands. I mean, you still got to live with it. Like my granddad used to tell me all the time, if you make your bed hard, you got to lay in it. So I really took that to heart, being responsible and taking actions for myself. It taught me that you have to be very strong-minded, very strong-minded, very, and being responsible too, When I was I went overseas, I was in Afghanistan one time, and I was in Egypt, I seen people get killed and like all kind of stuff. So it teach you, you have to be real focused, and pay attention to small little details, because if you don't, you could lose somebody. And even careers you take, you got to pay attention to small little details, because those small details can make it different from you being a normal person or being a millionaire, being whatever. What inspired me to get into rapping? I always did it when I was growing up, being from, just growing up period with your friends who haven't tried to rap, so when I was coming up, I just did it for fun, I wasn't even that good at it at the time when I was growing up. But as time started going on, I seen myself progressing to getting better. And at one point in time, I was like, man, I ain't gonna be no rapper. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. And when I moved to Richmond, this was like a year and a half ago. I released a song. Well, no, take that back. Yeah, I was in Richmond, and a producer he sent me a DM on Instagram. He was like, "Hey man, check my beats out." But I get that all the time. So I checked some of his beats out. One of them, I was like, man, this nice. So I went to the studio that same day, recorded it. And the engineer was like, man, this dope, how long you been doing music? I was like, man, I really just started back. I had quit, I was done with it. And he was like, man, it's hot. And I put it out, I'm not a huge rapper, so it didn't do big, huge numbers, but to me, it did good numbers. So after that, I started back up, and I ain't looked back since. To me, happiness is just being, I guess, satisfied with yourself. You can't look at the world or what's going on in the world, and always be depressed and down. You have to make yourself happy, Like some people, they might not like who the president is, Some people might say, oh, I'm unhappy. You can't let that make you be unhappy, because that's something, yeah, you voted, but at the end of the day, you still can't control who the president is, So you just have to, whatever you like, you have to do that to make yourself happy. Stuff you can't control, you gotta not worry about it. But yeah, talent, education, and consistency, I think all three of them will make you successful. I wouldn't say one will make you more successful than another one. You have to combine all of them, because you can have all the talent in the world, but no education on how to brand yourself, Or you can have all the drive and, oh, I want to do it, but you don't got the talent. You can be I love basketball so much, but you ain't got the talent to play it. So it take a little bit of all three of them.
And then give to other artists just starting out?
Some advice I would give to artists that just starting out is, no matter what people say, keep pushing. You know, one of my cousins, his name Lil Ugly. I remember when he first started, he came to me like, man, I want to do music. And I took him serious from day one. I was like, come on, you know. You know, at the time he wasn't that good. He used to put music out, people used to bash him like, man, you need to quit. You know, that's trash. Now, everybody want to, man, let me do music with you. You know, he going crazy. So no matter what people say, you got to keep pushing, you know, keep motivating yourself. One thing about that, you know, about money in the industry is that it's gonna be like that. You know, no matter what, especially if you're a new artist and you're not up on the game, people are gonna be out there to get you. You know, it happened to me before more than one time. You know, I done spent thousands of dollars and it's nothing to show for it. You know, they know you hungry, you're spending money, so you know they gonna come out there and get you. You just have to do your research and make sure you know you studying and hip on the game, you know what's going on. Because if you don't, they're gonna dry you out. Best advice I got from being an artist is don't try to look like an artist. Be an artist. You know what I'm saying? It's a million people that's trying to be an artist, but how many are artists? You know, and I took that and ran with it. I was like, man, that's deep. Like for real, people don't think about that. Quality over quantity. Chose the military. Well, first off, I wasn't even finna go to the military. Like they just come to my school every week. Like, hey man, you want to join the service? Like, man, you don't join no service, man. What I look like? So when I was 18, I moved. You know, I moved at my dad's crib. And me and my homeboys moved to Valdosta, Georgia. We got a spot out there. And I was trying to get a job. I couldn't get no job. Then one job I did finally get, they interviewed me. Yeah, we're gonna hire you. So they called me a couple of days after the interview. They was like, so we're going over your resume. I mean your background check, and it says you've been convicted. I was like, convicted? I ain't never been convicted. They was like, it says it right here, but I forgot when I was in high school. Me and my homeboy jumped this dude, but they took us to jail for it. So that was on my record. But I didn't think about that. I was like, oh man. So I ended up not getting a job. And it's like I was just going south and I had to do something. So I said, man, I'm just joining the military. And I ended up doing 8 years. I got medically discharged. I played basketball in the military and I tore my Achilles tendon. So it didn't never heal up. And you have to do a lot of running and stuff like that in the military. Like I still can run and stuff, but nothing like I used to. So. And I was gonna get out anyway because I wanted to really like take my career serious, and you can't do it. It's hard to do it in the military because you can't move around and do shows and stuff like that. So, you know, that happened. It was unfortunate that it happened, but it's good that it did. It did happen. You know, now I can do this music. My family, my mom and my dad. My dad, they do it. You know, they making a killing. You know, so. Real estate, that's one big thing. I want to invest in trucks too, semi-trucks. I know they make a whole lot of money. Them two right there is the top of my list, real estate and trucks. It's Rab Jones, and I'm young and great.